DJ LeRoy.
NightWatchman, how you doing, buddy?
Summertime and the living is easy in Harlem.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't necessarily seem that it's that easy here in New York City, because we just had a primary, you know that.
I don't want to talk about politics. I
Okay.
want to talk about
Harlem. We did have a show about that. I do remember that. Okay.
Number one tourist destination in Harlem. And we want to talk about what Harlemites are doing to make it even more number one.
Okay. Well, in terms of, let's say, destinations for all international tourism, and these are not my numbers. This is, of course, New York Tourism and Conventions, and it's the number 3 destination. Okay. And it's been that for a number of years. They come in droves, and you certainly know what it looks like on a weekend in Harlem.
Right. Okay? And we want to make sure they come, they leave having a good experience, and they leave their money.
Ooh. So NightWatchman, I heard about like golf carts, not just for the course. I heard about in the street, in these their streets, man. What about Klub Kart tours? Let's get them out of here. Yes.
All right.
Kevin Davis.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my brother. Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I got to get one of those carts, man. You know they're hot, right? But of course, Kevin, you know I'm gonna have to get some of my own rims. You know this already, right?
Hey, you got to put some new shoes on it, man.
Gotcha. Well, NightWatchman, I heard about this other one. I heard about, going to the pier there on 12th Avenue. I heard about this thing called the Harlem Rocket, man.
That's right.
Oh my God! Can we bring out these guys, man?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, Michael, Garry.
Yes.
Woo!
Hey.
Well, hold on. I remember what was that? I remember that classic scene in Apocalypse Now. Charlie don't surf, right? Okay. Oh. But I remember another thing. Black folk boating.
Yes. Yeah. So let me say that I wasn't old enough to see that movie.
Reruns, right, Garry?
Yes.
We heard about that in history class, right?
Right. Okay. Yes.
NightWatchman, I can't even believe they're going there. I can't believe this, But hey, having said that, right. You're a NightWatchman. We do have a returning guest to Soul Lounge Prime Time. Okay, and she is the reason she's invited. Not only, of course, the good potato salad without raisins, because she's always has a welcoming heart. Welcome to Harlem. Yes, Carolyn Johnson.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. So now, Watchman, where do you think we should start, man?
Pick one. They're all good.
You know what? I think I want to hear more about the idea behind golf carts. What do you think? And tours. Yeah, right. Kevin, you're up, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So,
all right.
So tell us about it. What prompted you to start this company and get on board, and especially one of a kind tours in Harlem, man? Come on, do tell.
So, we started this company, Klub Kart Tours, 2.5 years ago. The idea came from the walking tours. I live in Harlem, and I saw the walking tours, and there was one particular young lady, and she would have at least 20 to 50 tourists at a time walking. And I graduated from UCLA, and that stands for the University on the corner of Lenox Avenue. And the business part of me, I wanted to build a better mousetrap, so to speak. And golf carts came to mind. I have to give all thanks to the powers that be, because that it was put in me to do this. And once I hit the streets with the golf carts, I knew I had a grand slam. It wasn't a home run; it was a grand slam. Reason so from all the publicity that I got from driving around in New York City with golf carts with tourists inside of them, taking them to all the historic places in Harlem.
Nice. And Kevin, I just got to ask, because I do know the golf cart layout. Are we talking 2 or are we talking about 4? What are we talking about, man?
So I have 8-passenger golf cart,
Woo!
6 passengers,
Wow.
and 4 passengers. The 8 passengers, we also went a step further. I put an LED sign on one of the 8 passengers, so we advertise as well.
Right. Smart, absolutely. Well, you know what, Night Watchman, do you know how to do that 2-person grid? I'm a little bit technology challenged, so you're gonna have to help me, okay?
We're not going fancy today, bro. We're just
wow. Okay. Okay. Then I'll start out with a guy affectionately known as Garry with 2 R's. So Garry, do tell us, Harlem Rocket, man.
Hey, we are excited. Harlem Rocket is a maritime tour that we're going to base right here in Harlem. I mean, why go all the way downtown? That's my thinking, right?
Absolutely.
So as Curtis, both Michael and I went to City College, and we've spent a lot of our lives here. Michael longer than me, but it's true. Michael's been here for like what?
Gary,
a little longer, Gary.
Yes.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Go ahead, Gary.
But the Harlem Rocket is not just a tour; it is an economic development driver. Our goal is to bring people to the waterfront, and then have them spend their money in Harlem.
Yes.
Have them spend their money in Washington Heights. Explore the history, the culture, the music, the rich people that we have here. Don't just do it downtown, do it here. So that's the concept. And then introducing them to the maritime careers. So it's multifaceted and we're excited.
Beautiful. And Michael, man, I got to come to you, man. First of all, I didn't know one of the best engineering programs on the planet, CCNY, man. Okay. And yet boating, do tell, man.
Absolutely. So this was Gary's brainchild. However, with the combination of the 2 of us working together in the sense that, as you know, Curtis, I've been on the board of Harlem Week for several years, as Garry would say, decades. He used to say I was part of the founding group, but I'm not that old. But to follow up what Garry said, it's, yes, an economic engine, and yes, it'll expose young people to the maritime industry. But our tour is a cultural tour, right? So when you get on the boat, we start talking to you about where you are in Manhattanville and the historical aspects that are right there, with the Cotton Club. That's the start. And the history of that waterfront. But then as you go north and we talk about the various sites that we point out, we talk about the participation of Black and brown people in those locations. So yes, it is a nice maritime tour, but it's also an educational, cultural tour. And then it becomes a comfortable ride. We turn down the conversation and turn up the music and let you enjoy it. So that's 7 times a day. And then we do a sunset tour down to the Statue of Liberty, which is a longer tour, and a more chill tour. And we'll often have different types of entertainment.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Well, one of our returning guests here, of course, Carolyn Johnson. So people just think, yes, welcome to Harlem, tour guide. But Carolyn, you got to tell me about this game that you invented, Harlem-Opoly. Please, you got to tell me.
Yes, I created Harlem-Opoly during the pandemic. That was my in-house project since we couldn't go out and stuff like that. It is just like Monopoly. The board is based on the Harlem Renaissance. And the game is based on the Harlem Renaissance. So the spaces would be places like the Cotton Club, the various churches, Mother Zion, Abyssinian and stuff like that. They represented the 4 railroads and stuff. We would talk about the 135th Street Library, the Dark Tower, and all these different places that were very important to the Harlem Renaissance. And then the cards are the people. Langston Hughes, Ella Fitzgerald, A. Philip Randolph. You're learning about these people that you wouldn't know about. And it was really hard to go down to the cards because there were so many important people during the Harlem Renaissance period. But we had to figure it out and stuff. But it's been doing very well.
Nice.
And people do enjoy it because it's a learning tool. And I also created a glossary of every space in person, considering a lot of people, especially kids, wouldn't know about them and stuff. So they're all learning about Harlem as they play the game Harlem-Opoly.
Wow. And Carolyn, so let's say, because remember, ultimately, I am a consumer. So I want to know, where can I pick this up?
Yeah, because I need 5.
So there's various places in Harlem you can pick it up. You can pick it up at Nalu, the gift shop on Lenox Avenue. The Schomburg also carries it. Grandma's Place carries it as well. And the New York Historical Society downtown carries it. And we also sell it online and stuff like that. And hopefully can't order any more games. It'd just be too expensive to bring in, which is really a buzzkill for a lot of small businesses like myself, because it's too expensive to produce here in the United States.
Wow. Gotcha for that. Well, one of the things I'm thinking, because in terms of the golf carts, I'm really kind of trying to figure out, Kevin, because we know that sometimes there are structures and impediments that prevent you from launching. So did you have to engage, let's say, the DOT or other components of the city to get on the road?
Yes, sir. So I took advantage of when they signed the bill for the electric bikes to ride, through the streets. That was my loophole and opportunity to introduce the electric golf cart. One of the main key factors are they don't exceed 25 miles per hour.
Gotcha. Yes. Well, that's I remember they actually have been trying to put, especially in some of the bikes, that geocoding to prevent the speed or limit the speed on streets. So that's very good. And one of the things that, and certainly Garry, we know about the history that at least you do, the history of Blacks and the maritime profession. Because I was thinking, let's say, when I would go down to, let's say, Martha's Vineyard or Massachusetts, the whole Cape Verdeans and the whaling industry, how important that is. What are some of the things that you guys do in terms of the young people, teaching them this history?
So that's an excellent question. We are putting together a collection of fun facts, if you will, that they're just not aware of. I think what Carolyn is doing was fantastic, because she's bringing an awareness to the family and to the home. And so in a similar vein, we are trying to do that on a bit of a larger scale to a crowd or a group of 90 or 100 people on a boat at a time. And so, as Michael indicated, it's more than just seeing buildings, right? We're not really, if you want to see buildings, take a tour downtown. If you want to learn about the people, you will hear about individual aviators, sailors, ship owners, whaling owners, all up and down the East Coast and Gulf Coast, who are Black and brown people. And so for us, that's a precursor to eventually, hopefully having a museum of that type here in the city where you can learn that.
Wow.
But this is history that has been overshadowed. It has been relegated to the back pages of history, let's say. And in the climate that we're in now, and Bob, I'm not going to talk politics, but in the climate that we're in now, we're proud of the fact that we're Black and brown. And we're not afraid to share that history with folks, whether they're Black or brown or not, who want to come and see us. And so that's what we're going to do.
Beautiful. And so, Michael, only thinking, knowing your history, knowing your background, especially with the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce and Harlem Week, knowing when you put this out there, what was their appetite?
It's interesting. The appetite is what you see, and what Kevin has seen with his golf carts. You see people every Sunday going through Harlem with the churches, but every single day you have people walking through Harlem up and down Lenox Avenue, across 135th Street, where they can see, in the ground, because the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce have put, historical names in the ground as a walk of fame on 135th Street, across in front of the Apollo. The Apollo has historical names in the ground, plaques honoring people. And then, Curtis, one of the gems that's in Harlem is the artwork. So if you get up early, and we've had some people, and the gentleman who used to paint all of the gates.
Franco the Great. You got it.
Franco the Great. Yeah. And then, but I remember when right on the corner of 8th Avenue, the southeast corner, when they put a mosaic of Louis Del Sart's artwork.
Wow.
That mosaic is spectacular. And you see artwork throughout Harlem. Even Jacob says artwork on the outside of his restaurant. So the appetite to come to the waterfront and see what we're doing and see Harlem from a different perspective. Once you come up and get on that vessel, you ride the rocket, you are definitely getting a different perspective, and it's going to excite you. It's going to wow you. As a matter of fact, we like to say it's going to delight you.
Thank you for that. Now, Carolyn, early on in this discussion, of course, I talked about New York tourism and conventions, and I mentioned the number 3 destination.
Right.
So tell me, from what you have observed, typically the folks coming to your tours are hailing from where, would you say?
Basically Australia, places in Europe and stuff. We get people from all around the world, which is really fascinating. Recently, we've been having a lot of South Africans that were from South Africa and migrated over to UK and stuff. But you think place we get a lot of French, Italians, Germans and stuff, because remember now we also do jazz and gospel.
Yes.
So they love that. They come for that, having that Saturday gospel concert thing going on. They love it. And then people that love jazz, Thursday nights and Fridays nights, Craig is holding down that aspect.
Craig Harris. Yep. You got it.
So you name the place, they are really coming from all over, which is really great, because it's not about them just coming here and learning about Harlem. We learn about them as well. Their perspective on how they see us as a people and as a community and stuff, because a lot of times their thing is, I've seen it in the movies and on TV.
Right.
I was like, hopefully by the time you leave here, you're going to see it through a different lens. And they was like, wow, I didn't realize Harlem was so beautiful.
Wow.
I did not realize white people live here. I'm telling you, these are some things that, they say. They was like, the next time I come to New York, I prefer to stay up here, because when I point out how we're low-ride village, this beautiful natural sunlight that follows us around, we have all these parks and all these free things to do. I was like, it is a big community, and we do know each other and stuff like that, because they like saying, oh, everybody here, because as I'm walking around, everybody's talking and stuff like that. I was like, this is how we do it up here. We are a village. We know each other. We back each other up. But they was like, this is what we come to New York to see. It's not just about the flashy lights downtown. It's real crowded. They complain about stuff, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
I told them, you come up here, I can get you a good meal for $89. Take you to Tropical Grill and get you some rice and beans, and you're gonna be in heaven. So we try to show them the way that we move around here. It's not about taking them to the most fancy restaurant. I might take them someplace that got a 3-legged table, and they was like, but trust me, the food is good. They want to know how you move. So yeah.
Gotcha. Oh man. Night Watchman, have you taken any of these tours, man, or what? You tell us.
I definitely haven't taken the boat tour yet because it hasn't launched.
Okay.
The launch is coming.
Okay.
So let
go ahead,
How
Karen.
big is your boat?
Oh,
How many people can it hold?
100.
Okay.
wow.
So let me just share.
Gary, say exclusive first.
Okay. Okay, I will. Thank you, Michael.
Go ahead. Who wants to take that one?
So
Gary got it.
Gary, I got it.
You guys are getting an exclusive.
Okay.
Yesterday, the boat entered the harbor.
So congrats.
We took delivery of the boat, and she came down the East River, and then up the other side, and she is now in the city.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So over the next several days, we're going to be doing what we call time trials, where we go up and down and we pass the different areas that we're interested in. And we're going to start training our staff. Curtis and Bob may know because he's seen the crowds, but we had 315 people in person coming for 4 days for applications. Okay, we had over 500 resumes, and we're hiring about 35 people.
That's great.
Beautiful.
So it is almost here, and you will be seeing some images real soon, right, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an exciting day yesterday. We didn't even get on the boat. We said we wanted to see it come down the East River under the Brooklyn Bridge and around. We positioned ourselves so that we could see what we've been working on all this time. And it was amazing. It was exciting, definitely.
Well, I guess one of the things that I'm definitely and NightWatchman did hear a good thing, man, in terms of economic generator, in terms of employment. Do tell, expand on that.
Well, I'm gonna let Gary go forward with it, but I'm gonna tell you the 500 applicants, and we had to shut down our jobs at Harlem Rocket email because they were still coming, and we had closed the application time. So, but Gary, just talk about that and how many Zooms we did consecutively every 15 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. We had, as Michael indicated, we had 500 applicants. We had 315 people in person at WeWork over 4 days.
Wow.
And then we narrowed that down to a second interview process where we scheduled people for 15-minute intervals. And we had up to 15 or 16 people back to back going through those interviews. And what we found is that we've got many ages. We've got male, female. Most of them are from Harlem. The second largest group is from the Bronx. There are a couple from Brooklyn and a couple from Queens.
Gotcha.
So I like to say all 4 boroughs of New York. No, all 5 boroughs of New York City. Don't get me in trouble now.
That's right. Wu-Tang will come
there
after
you go.
That's right.
There you go. So
we'll have Wu-Tang on the boat.
That's right. So we had a tremendous amount of feedback from them, and what we're telling them is that while we're launching this business is dependent on their energy and their spirit.
That's right.
And these young people are buying in like you would not believe. Many of them are social media mavens. Don't get me to do whatever on social media. These kids eat, drink, and sleep it. All right. And they're excited because they're all saying, we have never been a part of anything that started on the ground. And for you to include in this and for you to give us a presentation like this, they are so excited. And wait till you see these young folk hit the streets. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, love it. And Kevin, come on now. I know I just heard, job generator, economic generator. I know you need drivers, so do tell us in terms of what has it been for you, man. Tell us.
So yeah, I get as I ride down the street, and I get, the light turns red. Everyone walks up to me looking for employment. They got something to say about the golf carts. I've hired at least 15 drivers for now.
Nice.
And as my business increases, I'll be hiring more drivers with the more carts that I have. Also, I hire a concierge. We have the contract with the Marriott Hotel on 125th Street, and they wish to extend our services to a couple more Marriott hotels.
Beautiful. And currently, Kevin, how many are in your fleet? And Night Watchman, what's going on? I'm hearing this buzz. Feedback. So somebody, and if you're not speaking, do me a favor, just mute yourself, and then we'll come get you. Promise. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. So Kevin, currently, how many are in your fleet?
As of right now, we have 6.
Okay.
2 8 passengers. 3 6 passengers, and 2 4 passengers.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. And okay, I'm gonna shift over to you. This is Night Watchman. I don't know what's going on here with this. Okay. Carolyn, I'm gonna ask you. Yes. We good?
I think it's Kevin's mic.
Kevin, put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute. Okay.
Okay.
So, Kevin, when you're not speaking, you're going to remain on mute. Thank you, my brother. All right, we'll come back. So, here we are. Night Watchman. What you got for Carolyn? You got a little something, I know. Night Watchman. Okay. You all you three can hear me, correct? Okay. So let me then pivot to you, Carolyn.
Okay.
And do tell me in terms of the international tourists that come into the community, have you been able to also forge some partnerships, alliances, collaborations with some of the business owners as well as the restaurants in the community? And how's that going?
Yes, considering all of my tours except for one include a meal. We work with the local restaurants. We make sure we have lunch there and stuff like that, and or brunch. And also we do private events. We use them for catering and stuff like that. And it's been working out really well. We always encourage, we'll go into shops and stuff, and we'll let them do like shopping when we're out there walking around, because that's the way to put money back into our community, to circulate the money as much as possible. So we always, encourage that, but we always make sure that they spend money. When I'm up at the Schomburg, I drag them into the gift shop. I point out books that they should buy when they're trying to learn about Harlem. Like get something easy, like the autobiography of Malcolm X, The Invisible Man. So this way it's a gradual introduction as to that time period and how people were feeling living here and stuff. So yeah, we thoroughly encourage that.
Beautiful.
Very important.
Okay. And Garry, do tell them, you just heard from Carolyn, collaboration. How are you guys doing? Because I'm also thinking that on 12th Avenue, you have this this moored ship that is also a restaurant.
Go ahead.
Okay. Carolyn, mute yourself. Okay.
I'm here.
Carolyn, mute yourself.
Yep.
Garry, do tell in terms of collaborations with business owners and the like.
So much as Carolyn just said, we are going to collaborate as well. Now, you just brought up the Baylander. The Baylander is basically going to be across the pier from where we're going to be. So, we're doing 7 or 8 tours a day. Our boat does not feature food or drink on a regular basis. And so customers will be able to either go to the Baylander or go to Dinosaur BBQ. But they're right there on the waterfront, right? We don't have to sell them. Okay. Correct. And they're going to benefit from our presence because the numbers that we're bringing in. And so because of that, we're forging partnerships deeper within Harlem. So, restaurants that are on 8th Avenue or restaurants that are on Lenox Avenue and 125th or 126. I'm not going to say names right now, but you know the places I'm thinking about.
Yes.
And we want to be able to push people to those restaurants and those shops, retail shops, so that they can explore not just what's on the waterfront, but what's deeper within Harlem itself. And we think it's important to do so. Because we don't want people just coming uptown or coming from Jersey or coming from Connecticut, or even if you live in Harlem, just coming to the waterfront and then, dining there and eating there and then going home. We want you to go and explore more of Harlem. And exploring more of Harlem means going to restaurants and establishments that are Black and brown owned.
Very nice. Michael, love what I'm hearing from Garry. You as well. So, let's say I go into the gift shop where Carolyn had mentioned that her Harlem-Opoly is being offered.
Yes.
What if I wanted to get a little model of the Harlem Rocket? Do you guys have any merch now?
We don't have. We are preparing merch for hats and shirts. The model we're working on, and so there will be a gradual development of merchandise. So that's going to be key. But just to follow up on what Garry was saying, if you look at 125th Street as the artery, we look at the avenues as the veins.
Gotcha.
And we want to send, the blood up the artery and through the veins so that all of Harlem, as we can push it, is benefiting. And that's what's key. Now, as far as partnering, I've had conversations with Kevin, and so we're looking at how we can work together. And I've worked with some of Caroline's staff. I just saw one of her groups just past Sunday. She had like 45 people walking and talking about the Schomburg, and and she and I have crossed paths as we've been building this. So this and other walking tours, this is what this is about. How we can do business together that is mutually beneficial, but it also is beneficial to all of Harlem.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for that. And certainly, Kevin, I'm going to come to you because you've heard collaboration important. So in terms of your Klub Kart tours, are you taking this to any, let's say, restaurants or other small businesses in the community?
Oh, absolutely. We a lot of the tourists ask what's the favorite or best restaurants within Harlem. We take a lot of guests to Melba's, Red Rooster. I mean, you name it, we take them to it. At the end, they can't eat on the cart, so at the end of the tour, they're definitely hungry.
Very good. Thank you for that. Let me see. I'm thinking NightWatchman. What you got? You're on mute, or at least we can't hear you. No, we cannot hear you. Okay. You know what? This is what happens, Garry, with live video streams.
Hey. Listen, it's all good in the end.
Yes. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you for the NightWatchman. You're going to have a lot of freaking editing. You know this, buddy.
No, it's going exactly the way it is. Flaws and all, because people are here for what these guys have to say. And,
okay.
So one of the things I wanted to go back. So Curtis, you had asked Kevin about some of the obstacles that he had to go through in terms of just getting the carts on the street. I want to hear from Michael and Garry about some of the obstacles they had to go through for getting the boat on the water, because there's multiple agencies that I think they had to deal with to get to make this a reality.
Yes. Who would like to take that one?
Gary, you take the Gary.
I don't know if the show is long enough.
This is true. I'm gonna let you handle this, Gary.
I'm gonna try to condense this.
Use the alphabet.
Good one.
No. So let me just say this. We are the only Black-owned maritime tour business in New York City that owns their own boat.
Wow. Okay.
And the year is 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that?
Mm-hmm.
And the reasons are multiple. One, the expense of acquiring a vessel, a boat, is not an insignificant expense.
Right.
But, there's an old joke. What is a boat? A boat is a hole in the water that you pour money into, right?
Wow.
But more than that, there are so many agencies, state, city, federal. You've got the Department of Environmental Conservation. You've got the city's Department of Small Business Services. You've got the Army Corps of Engineers. You've got EDC. You've got city planning. And that's just 5. And then you've got insurance requirements. There are about 15 different types of insurance you have to have.
Wow.
At different thresholds. And so, and Curtis, you understand this because you've seen it as well. But 20 to 30 years ago, there were only a handful of Black real estate developers.
Yes.
And the city and the state decided to create programs to make it easier for people of color to be real estate developers. They created programs for financing, land acquisition, etc. And now we're thankful that people like, Craig Livingston is one of the developers of the Renaissance Marriott Hotel, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't have happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, Michael and I are going through what we're going through, taking the lumps, but we're hoping that 10, 15 years, maybe 5 years from now, if we're fortunate, that there are others like us who look like us, male, female, Black, brown, can get into this field, because it shouldn't, and it can't just be us.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be this hard to work on the waterfront. It cannot be an exclusive club. It cannot be the kind of barriers that exist, that have existed.
Yes.
That existed out of tradition and existed out of, in some cases, ignorance, and in some cases, just racism. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're fortunate that people in the governor's office and the mayor's office and the city agencies have embraced this concept and have done what they could to help move us through. But it can't be this hard in the future for the next person. It just can't,
Gotcha.
We have developed so many buildings in the city now with development teams that look like us, but it's taken 30 years to do so. And it still isn't where it should be, right? We know there's still progress to be made. But maritime is one of the most important components of the U.S. economy, and none of us realize that. Everything that we're sitting on now, the desk, the equipment we're looking at, all came in through a ship. Mm-hmm. And so someone had to work that ship, someone had to build that ship, someone had to repair it, and someone had to transport it. But people who look like us don't realize that those are all careers they can get into.
Mm-hmm.
And, folks need to be able to see people of color in these industries, especially our young people. And that's why we say a kid can't be what a kid can't see.
Well said, Garry. Well said, for sure.
So, to follow up on that,
we
Garry and I started talking with the Council of New York Navy League, and they sponsor Fleet Week. And they took hold of what we were saying, and we, along with them, were able to bring the first Sea Cadet unit to Harlem. And this fall, in October, they will be up and running and that Sea Cadet unit is on the west side up with Grand Wyndham on 133rd Street, and it's also sponsored by DYCD and the Council for New York Navy League. So we were as well as us, yes, as well as us, and it's their name, Garry. What's the lieutenant's name?
Lieutenant Harriet L. Pickens,
who went to Watley High School.
Unit. She went to
Watley High School. Okay.
Watley High School. Okay. So it is this type of exposure that these young people are going to have, and just like any cadet corps, cadet unit, it's going to teach them discipline, and they'll understand how to operate within a system, and they help foster and tutor them with their grades. But the other aspect of it, Curtis and Bob, is that they are exposed to the industry, but to travel. So they can travel to get on other vessels during the downtime in summertime. There's training that goes through, and this Sea Cadets is from, I believe, 11 to 17, 11 Correct. To 18. So they all through their primary school and high school get this type of training, and they may not go into the services, but they may, but they'll learn leadership and qualities and listening and discipline, and those qualities will stay with them forever.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. Tell me that you've heard about Governor Hochul's initiative called the Black Travel Initiative. That's, of course, the umbrella is, of course, I Love New York, which is the New York State brand. But the Black Travel Initiative, headed up by Danae Jones, to encourage more black and brown folk to tour New York State to see some of the iconic pictures. And just Garry and Michael, if you don't know, they will be coming into Harlem to have a discussion. I will let you know. I know.
I was about to say you are inviting us all to that, right?
The short answer, I'm going to get some more of the parameters, but yes, I will promise to circle back. You know that, absolutely. And I know because Carolyn, I know the first time they actually came to even announce it, she was there in the room. And Carolyn, you remember the whole Black Travel Initiative with I Love New York folk? You're on mute. Carolyn, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I had to step away.
No worries. No worries.
Yes, I remember that when they started that.
Yeah, okay.
And it's something that needs to be picked back up and ran with, because now is a good time for that. With all the things that are, we're not going to talk politics, but now is a good time for us to really be pushing that in the forefront to make sure that our history is not erased and or forgotten.
Well said. Absolutely. So, and Kevin, you got to tell me, have you heard of that Black Travel Initiative yet? Come off of mute.
Honestly, sir, I have not. This is the first time of me hearing this.
Okay, no worries. For all of you on this particular one, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make sure that I get you guys the information. Okay, for sure. NightWatchman, what you got?
Well, as part of what we do on Soul Lounge Primetime is help to make some of these connections so that things go forward even faster. I wanted to put this one across to Michael and Garry, because I was thinking earlier of the conversation about merchandising. And I had a chance to tour a youth facility the other day that features a number of 3D printers. And I could envision little 3D models of your boats being printed here in Harlem, and have that be the source for some merchandise that could appear in Nilu or Grandma's Place or places around town to, not only help, publicize what you're doing, but actually create that other revenue stream and give people, a tangible souvenir keepsake of their experience. So I will connect you guys with that source after the show and run with it.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob,
fantastic.
Yes. And, Carolyn, looks like you're about to say something. Go ahead.
I have a question. The gentleman with the rocket boat thing.
Yes. Harlem
I might talk to y'all to do some private events.
Bring it, Carolyn.
Bring it, Carolyn. I actually spoke with one of your people just this past Sunday. She did your 135th Street tour. I guess it was Sunday about 10 o'clock. She had about 45 people with her.
Me. That was probably Inside Out Tours. Wasn't me.
Oh.
Wasn't me. That's probably enough.
Well, we got you now, Carolyn, so we'll talk to you directly about it.
Well,
because a couple of things. When we do tours, you will never see one tour guide with 45 people.
Got you.
We do not. If we go over like 20 people or whatever, I send out 2 tour guides. I make sure people have a good time. They're not rushed. And people walk at different paces and stuff. So we make sure the client has a good time and they learn as they're going along the tour. So if you ever see a group of 45, 50 people, that is not Carolyn Johnson's tour company. If it is, we have 2 tour guides managing the group. You'll never see us walking that many people. I think it's not fair to the people.
No, you're absolutely right. I hear you.
Okay.
But we most definitely tour because we could bring food and music without a problem.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, cuz.
In the family.
Yes,
all in the family.
You see Garry capitalizing on that Johnson connection.
I know.
See you at the cookout,
That's right.
Yes.
But no,
Kevin, you related too. Don't worry, Kevin. Kev, you related too.
You heard that, Kev? You all part of the family now. So and Kev, this is what I also have to ask for you in terms of the stuff. Are there any things in terms of smooth sailing now with all of the city agencies, or what?
So, my final hurdle and that we're trying, or obstacle that we're trying to get over or get into, so to speak, is Central Park. We fit all of the requirements for our vehicle to go into Central Park, but they continue to tell us no with any valid reason. My ace in the hole was Seneca Village, which was once owned by Arthur Williams, and I was told that park on the outside and walk in. I'm like, but that's not the novelty of what we do. So I'm still fighting to get into Central Park.
Okay. I don't necessarily know if it's a direct connection, but I'm thinking that I'll have a discussion with Shatik Mitchell, who used to, of course, be over at Community Board 10, where he was a district manager, and now, as you guys know, he's with the Conservancy now. So we'll see if that works.
And Kevin, you may want to just socialize those conversations over the next several months as well.
Okay.
As things progress to November.
Yeah.
Not speaking politics. I hear you.
But not of course. So oh my God, NightWatchman.
Speaking not politics.
Yes.
I have another question. How long are your excursions approximately, time-wise?
So the cultural tour is 40 minutes, and the sunset tour is 90.
Okay, beautiful. And typically, let's say with the sunset tour, you're starting at around what, 7 or 8 o'clock?
Around 7. Right now, we're planning on approximately 7 o'clock, and so the vessel will be getting back. The boat will be getting back about 8:30. Carolyn, we are also going to be available for private charters. So if there are special things that folks want to do of a different duration, we are open to that. So we're going to be flexible. In terms of operating profile, our plan at this point in time is to operate from Tuesdays through Sundays. So Mondays are going to be off, but there are some Mondays that we may operate. We'll see how that works out. We like to give the boat a day to rest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, indeed. Well. I guess one of the things that I'm certainly thinking about. We know that particular Harlem during the summer is hot. We have Harlem Week. It's going to be all up in there. We know that there's some special things also happening. We have now the memorial to the Holcomb Rucker Park. That is a real thing happening.
Yeah.
And we also know that Lloyd is also going to make sure that we do heavy hit bringing back the Harlem Music Festival. Okay. So these are two key things that I'm thinking that everyone on this particular conversation will have a part in. Is that correct?
That is correct. But Curtis, you just reminded me of something, and I do not know how Michael and I forgot to mention this. When you mentioned the word memorial,
yes.
Very importantly, on May 6th, we christened the boat. And when we christened her, we named her the Hazel N. Dukes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Nice.
Okay. See,
And I think everybody on this call knows Hazel, and if they don't, they should. And Hazel has lived in Harlem for about 50 years. She was a mentor to me. She was a mentor to Michael. Wow. I still serve as her first ever economic development chair for the NAACP in New York State. And that woman was more committed to youth education, our history, and our culture than almost anyone I know. And so we thought it was more than appropriate to have a living memory and memorial of her by naming the boat the Hazel N. Dukes.
Beautiful. Good one, Garry, for sure. Michael, you got the same sentiments?
Oh, absolutely. As you know, in my history with the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce and Harlem Week, I'm inbred in Harlem, right? My wife she actually is about to leave the Apollo, or former wife, as Garry must make me say. I have, and that just took place last night. So I've been with these iconic events and activities for many years, and it's just, this is really important that we take this time, and I'm thankful for both you and Bob for bringing us here to, on this show with other entities in tourism to promote, but also to connect. So this is what needs to happen. It's what we do, what has been done with the Chamber and Harlem Week, and it is what Garry and I have at the core of what we're doing as far as bringing young people and helping them understand maritime, but also bringing our business to help other businesses so that we all grow.
Beautiful. Carolyn, I had a little question, because of course,
sure.
you know how sometimes, okay, I'll just give you an example of, let's say, video games. You have the initial launch, and then of course you have Grand Theft Auto Part 2 or version 2, 3, 4, 5. So Harlem-Opoly, is there another version?
Yes, there is. We're working on it now. This one is going to be based on the civil rights. And we're just trying to wait and see what happens with, these foreign countries with manufacturing and stuff like that. I have been looking for companies here in the United States, but it just totally skews the price of the game because it's just so expensive to manufacture.
Carolyn, have you thought about manufacturing in the Caribbean?
No, because I didn't know. Of any places there, I'm more than sure we'll look into it. I have no problems with that.
We may have some connects with
people don't realize 75% of the stuff that we import comes from China.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
They don't realize, when you're talking about a fan, an air conditioner, a TV, the little stuff, toys, clothing, that all comes from China. People by September, they're going to start feeling the effects of this, because right now they've just been pushing back between store shelves starting to be empty, and prices are going to start kicking in. By September, it's going to be a mess.
Wow. So Garry, I know you of course are probably talking about the Big Island, Jamaica.
The Big Island.
The Big Island.
I was just with Dean Shipping, sending 2 barrels home to Jamaica, okay? So, yeah. I have friends down there, so I just sent 2 barrels to. That's how I was dealing with Dean Shipping. So, yeah.
There you go. Well, there may be some opportunities there we can chat about.
Okay. I'm most definitely open, because like I said, I do want to continue the game. I only have about a little over 1,100 left. So that might just get me through the end of the year between the holidays and all of that stuff. But then after that, I'm like, what do I do?
Right.
I said China is not going to be an option at 30 or 50% tariff. That is crazy.
Yes. Can't no. So NightWatchman, we are at something we call what?
The lightning round.
Okay. So folks, we now ask you to concise your responses, but also let folks know, I want to get in touch with Harlem Rocket. I want to ride. I want to know how to get in touch with you guys. How does one do that? Garry?
Best way to do that is go to harlemrocket.com. The second best way to do that, or should I say equally, you've got to go to Instagram, Harlem Rocket on Instagram. Those are the 2 best ways to get in touch with us.
Beautiful. I can even do some bookings there, or what?
Absolutely. Bookings are live. We have a special that's running for the next 3 days on some advanced ticket sales, particularly for youth and seniors. So that's both on Instagram and harlemrocket.com. And there are going to be some more specials launching in July.
Okay, beautiful. And Michael, I know you will probably have a similar answer, but I also want to know, because I didn't hear about the launch. Give me a date.
So the launch, as we get the infrastructure in place, you will get that date. You got the first exclusive. The boat is in the harbor.
Thank you for that. Excellent. So, of course, Kevin, man, Klub Kart Tours. How do I get in touch with you guys?
So you can get in touch with us at clubkarttours.com. Spell Club K. I can be. You can. We have a phone number, which is 917 557 3818. We have a lot of call volume, so it's best to text.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Kevin. And of course, Carolyn, do tell.
The best way to get in contact with us is to go to welcometoharlem.com. You can leave, we have a little chat bot there. You can contact us that way, or you can email us at info@welcometoharlem.com or Carolyn@welcometoharlem.com. That's the best way to get in contact with us, via email and stuff, because we respond to those much faster, because we're always moving around and stuff like that. You know, with the phone, you might have to leave a message or something, but the best way to contact us is via email or online on our online portal, where we will respond as quickly as possible.
Beautiful. So NightWatchman, based on this conversation, do you believe that everyone will be invited back to the cookout, man?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we gotta have to combine it. So we're gonna take the cart to the cookout by the water, get on the boat, and play. What are we gonna play on the boat?
Yes.
We're gonna play.
Yes. Harlem-Opoly.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
That's what we're doing at our cookout.
Indeed. And see, folks, you just thought the NightWatchman was just a pretty face. You see this? You see this technical expertise?
Skills. He's got skills.
Yes, indeed. Well, folks, great conversation. Thank you. But a couple of things are going to happen. And guys, just so you know, Harlem Rocket, you know this is happening, that when we have the launch and we see how it's going for a little bit, you know you're coming back, right?
All right.
Thank you.
Is that a promise?
that is Gary. I know you will follow up, so that's why I'm scared. So I'm saying it without reservation that yes, it's a promise.
Well, let me just say, Bob and Curtis, we are so appreciative of being invited here. We thank you for this opportunity. It was great to meet Carolyn and Curtis and Kevin at the same time. And as Michael said, it is all about collaboration and helping each other out in the village, because that's the only way we all grow.
Yes, totally. Yes. Woo! NightWatchman, are you gonna take us home or what?
You've been listening to Soul Lounge Prime Time on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us always on Monday at 6 o'clock on the radio, 90.3 FM, also WHCR.org online. And you can find us on YouTube and Facebook on the Soul Lounge Primetime channels, also streaming at 8 p.m. on Monday nights. We want to thank our panel for what they're doing, not only in enhancing Harlem as a great space to come and visit, but also enhancing the economic development, hiring youth, and forging out into new territories. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the cookout.
Thank you.
With the raisins, no raisins.
No raisins.